All right, all right. Sorry about the home squad sports. Getting started here, week 8. Got a full lineup here. Very excited. Dalton, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. Just living life. How are you today, man?
Man, it's been a long Monday. So yeah, it looks like we got a full week though. Got some football to lean on though. Got some football going on right now if you're following NFL. But got a full slate of college as well to go over. See some scores of the game. Is 20-10 Ravens over the Buccaneers, and right now Chargers are trailing the Cardinals 3-7. So we'll see what goes on with that as we get on with the show. But we'll go ahead and get on to it. We do want to go ahead and do a shout out to Jameer Scott of Mount Healthy. He is a athlete there. He plays corner and wide receiver for Mount Healthy there in Cincinnati. Heck of an athlete. He's going to Wisconsin. We're going to debut his really quick interview and get into it here. All right, sitting here with Jameer Scott, Wisconsin commit, big game, couple tutties. How'd you feel about tonight? How you think it went?
It felt good. It felt good. We got out of there at the second half, so we just put on a little show first half, and you feel me, showed them what we got.
Yeah, it's always good as I save your energy. I'm conservative for next week. You got another big game coming up. Like you said, like this coming off a challenging week the week before, but you all answered and you all were to show that you all made business tonight. What was the biggest change that you all made coming into this week?
Our defense, we made up all the missed tackles last week, all the blown coverages. We just trying to perfect it so it don't happen when it's time for the playoffs when we play another big team like yours.
Yes, sir. Like you said, you got your eyes on the state championship there, but you've already made your decision where you're going next year. You're going to be a Wisconsin Badger.
Yes,
what was the biggest thing that really played the part in making that decision?
The coaching staff, they're my dogs. They treat me like family, like I'm one of their own.
And you just really want to go somewhere that's kind of develop you, right?
Yes,
Treat you
sir.
like family.
Develop me, get me ready for the next level.
Like you said, that's the biggest thing. It's important here with recruiting coming up, and like it's a business, like you said. So that family entity, if you can have that family aspect, that means the world.
Better. Yes, sir.
So I'll wrap it up here with Jameer Scott coming off a big 42-point win. Future Wisconsin Badger, be on the lookout. You have a good one, man.
Sir.
All right, Jameer Scott. Shout out to him, man. A heck of an athlete there. Has a big future ahead of him, and Dalton was able to see him play as well. We were up close and personal, and we were thoughts on Jameer, but his future there as a Wisconsin Badger.
I mean, I seen he committed as a corner, online and his social medias and all that, his graphics and all that. But you couldn't really tell how good as a corner he was that game. The other team couldn't throw, but what I could tell was how good an athlete he was. He caught 2 touchdowns that game, and he's not even going as a receiver. So that tells you how much lockdown he must be to be going as a corner and not a receiver, it tells you how talented he is. I don't even think he got targeted the whole game as a corner. So he made a great field tackle, the one, screen they ran on his side. So he's got a lot of talent, man. I think Wisconsin got themselves a great player coming in.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a slept-on player. Wisconsin, they get a lot of big guys, and him coming out of Cincinnati, and like 2-3 star recruit. It depends on what website you bring him up on. He's a really good kid, and that carries over. He's got a couple other teammates we're going to be highlighting, like we highlighted Ty Watkins, who definitely committed there. He's a defensive end. He is 100% committed to Akron. He says he's staying home. He actually committed the day before we were at that game, so he had some size, and then obviously a teammate of the guy who brought us onto this team and got us onto the team is quarterback Jameer Scott.
Jameer Spain.
Jameer Spain. Yeah, Jameer Spain. So they have 3 Jameers on their team.
Crazy.
They have 3 Jameers on their team. So I was looking at the roster. I was like, God, 2 of them are going D1. So and then Jameer Spain's got a brother on the team. So it's great. Their team's it's a family. It's a family there. And speaking of Spain, he is a baller, and man, I'm his biggest advocate there. We got his highlights from this past week. We just want to go over just quick couple plays. He was able to ball out, man, and they won 42-0 the game we was at, and then this week there he was able to get another dub, and they're rolling, and he's really able just to make all the plays, and he's got a lot of zip on the ball. He can what they call is throw it on the rope and put it on a rope, and right there, as you can see, and he's an athlete, man. And we met him at Elite 11, and he's pretty much just got our eyes on him ever since, and he hasn't let us down. So shout out Jameer. He's going to be a D1 athlete, holding offers from Toledo, UNLV. Those are probably the best schools, I think, for him. He's got like Ohio too, so and he's got a Temple as well. So see if Temple getting maybe a new coach in there. I think, or maybe they just get some new players like Jameer, and be able to build it back up. So, but that is enough about the high school there. Shout out to them, and we want to move on to our pick 6 of the week, which is week 8. It was a great week. I mean, full of a bunch of action, upsets there, as you can see. I mean, Man, it was crazy. Duke able to stay undefeated against Florida State. I mean, I was rooting for Duke, and the craziest thing about this game is how weird this stat line was. It was really weird stat line. They really didn't get any yards. Duke didn't, and I've never really seen a team remain undefeated and get really no yards. Like it was crazy. So I'll go ahead and bring them up here. So Duke only got 10 first downs as opposed to Florida State's 16, and then they only got 110 rushing yards, which that's it's okay, but only 70 yards passing. So 180 yards total offense, and they win the
Yeah,
game. I mean,
yeah.
what I
You don't
mean,
see that anymore. You don't see that anymore.
what is that? I mean, that's crazy. That's grinding it out, staying undefeated against a higher touted opponent, as in like tradition and just program. But obviously, Florida State's not as good as them. Florida State's just, man, I don't know. They're just not good. Like, I don't know where to start. Is it just the quarterback at this point, or is it the coach and quarterback? Is it a few other things? Like, you're a Florida fan, so you probably you scout your rival just as anyone. So what do you think about Florida State?
Oh yeah, I was ready to go on a tangent about these guys. They suck, dude. I don't know what's good about this team anymore. They don't have a good running game. They don't have good receivers. Their receivers drop a good ball if they're thrown. They don't throw many good balls, but they do. They're not caught. The run game isn't good. The O line's not good. The defense is decent, but their whole team sucks, man. I love to see it so much. I can't wait to that game last week of the season. But let's give Duke some credit. Manny Diaz in his first year. Their defense, man, is just absolutely balling this year. Their offense ain't doing shit really, but
No.
the fact that they don't have to is that says a lot about how good their defense is playing. And maybe Manny Diaz can get some culture going, and he gets a good quarterback in there. Murphy had a lot of talent, but he's not really producing. They get a guy in there who can produce. Watch out for Duke in the next couple of years. You never know.
Yeah, if they can get them like a nice transfer to come in, that'd be really nice. Like a really good transfer. Like obviously Malik Murphy's a transfer, but like a guy who just a great quarterback, right? He's
A
a great.
Curtis Fort type, maybe from Ohio, like a
Yeah,
smaller school guy.
yeah. He's really good too. I mean, God, there's so many good quarterbacks around like right now, and it's like the polar opposite of NFL. It feels like, and it's wild. But Florida State, I mean, so good last year, and they're not. They're just they can't. I mean, it's just crazy how one year can change so much, and you lose your quarterback. Like, yeah, that's important. Like, we get that. That is important. I'm not looking over that, but God, they weren't supposed to be this bad. Like, even as a bad Florida State team, they're still not supposed to be this bad.
They were
Like,
projected top 25 this year. I mean, no, they weren't. Nobody thought they would be this bad. I'm the biggest hater in the world, and I didn't think they'd be this bad. I thought they'd lose 3 or 4 games. I was like, oh, they ain't just last year for sure. We got a
yeah,
shot at them, but I didn't think they would be 1-6. Man, that's absolutely a terrible record to hold as a team. As we know that have a standard as Florida State. Really bad year. This is one of those years that just it's really hard to bounce back from.
yeah. No, I feel it. And then like you like flip flop of how so many teams that we thought were going to be good, and you flip flopping with a team we didn't think was going to be good. One of them being maybe Indiana. Like you move on here to 56-7 win over Nebraska. Man, Matt Rule not having the best of year he thought. With Nebraska and all these resources they have, and Rayola and coming into the year, Signetti making his case and pretty much stamping it maybe on Coach of the Year. I mean, how does he not win Coach of the Year now off that win? Like what did you think about the game? Or are they for real? Like now they got an injured quarterback, so now we're going to see what's going to really change for them. But what are your thoughts on the game and just overall Indiana right now?
I mean, I'm sold on them, but I'm only as much sold on them as you can be for their strength of schedule. I'm always one of those guys. I'm always who have you played, not who have you beaten. And they haven't played nobody good. And this is our best win of the year, and they actually dominated. So you can't take that away from the team. You beat who you play. You show up on Saturdays. You go out there for 3 hours, and if you win by 49, nobody can take that away from you. So
Right.
give them credit where it's due. But I want to see them do. They got Ohio State in a couple weeks. They got Michigan a couple weeks. They got Washington this week even. Washington's a little test. I think they should still beat them though. I'm ready to see them play a real test, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that. I'm just excited. And in terms of Nebraska, I don't want to say Matt Rule is a bad coach or anything. He's actually on a good trajectory. He's just not as good as Signetti, apparently. 5-2 is still solid for where Nebraska's been the past couple of years.
Yeah.
5-2
Yep.
is not bad. Nebraska fans should take it. But he's just not. Signetti just might be different. He might actually be different. He's one of those guys that just might have the it factor. We'll see in the next couple of years because I'm sure. Sorry, Indiana fans, he ain't gonna be there long. But
No, I was about
we'll
to
see
say,
when he
man.
takes over a big program what he can do there.
That was my next question for you, man. Like, God, how do they keep this dude? How do they keep him in Indiana? Like, it's going to be so hard.
I really don't think they can. They'll have to pull money out of places that they never pulled money out of before. You know what I mean? Like they'll have to find money from local car dealerships, like stuff like that, dude. They'll have to hit up all local businesses and stuff like that to try to get him to stay. Hopefully they can do it because it's cool to see Indiana be good. I like teams that have never been good that are good. I like that a lot. It's cool. It's fun to see new contenders in college football. So if he can stay there, more power to Indiana and more power to him. If he's happy there, that's great. Hope they can have some prolonged success. It'd be cool to see.
Yeah, which brings me up, like you see a lot of these, with this new age football teams, maybe some of these teams that we've always known as a basketball school, maybe we start looking them as a football school and vice versa. I mean, if you look across the street there on the Pick Six week 8 list is Alabama and Tennessee. Is Alabama a basketball school now after what I'm seeing? Like, it's such an undisciplined team. We'll get to them in a second, but I mean, some of these schools are going to just, I'm exaggerating with Alabama becoming a basketball school, but they are top 5 this year. And, they went to the Final Four last year, so I mean, best are they going to make it 2 years in a row being better than Alabama football? We'll see. I mean, but yeah, I mean, Indiana's really good. Signetti, I don't see how he really stays there. I think your Florida Gators should throw the absolute biggest bag that you can accumulate, biggest bag possible at him because I've always said Lane Kiffin to you. Maybe I'm right. He's right there with Signetti. Maybe Signetti might be higher on the list of who you should go get, which I know you've said as well. So. Is that, and we'll get into that as well. But I mean,
We'll
with
talk about that
Signetti,
later. We'll talk about
yeah,
Florida a
they're
little
going,
bit
yeah,
after pick six, but
they're going to be in the
great coach.
playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs more than likely in the Big Ten. Obviously, like you said, they have Ohio State, but they could drop Ohio State and still get in the playoffs. Uh,
Absolutely.
they can drop that game. They just can't shoot themselves in the foot on some of those later games. We'll look into our top 25 poll in a minute, but yeah, I mean they're serious. They're here. Obviously, that's well explained with a 56-7 win over what we thought was going to be a really good game. So, which leads us into our next game here, which is Miami and Louisville. Everybody thought Louisville was going to bring the A game, and they did for most of the game. But Cam Ward, man, he's real deal. I think he's replaced. I think with talent and what I think he can do at the next level with Jalen Milroe. I think he's better than Jalen Milroe. I think he's just got a it factor. He just got the it factor. He just does. He makes some crazy weird plays that really shouldn't be made. Which we have his highlight video that I got put together here. And he's a baller, bro. Like he wheeled that team to victory. Louisville wasn't shooting themselves in the foot too much like they have this season. Yeah, they were able to keep him at bay. But what did you think about Miami? Or are they for real? Does that change? Does this win over Louisville change anything at all coming into it? Leaving it. But what do you think?
They're a great offense. We all know that. Their run on their offense is amazing. Top 5 in the country, if not one. I won't hate on that. I can't argue that. 3 great running backs and 4 or 5 great receivers, 3 good tight ends, great O-line, great quarterback. Okay, you got everything. Their defense, though, something else to talk about there. If
I
you play
know.
a real explosive offense, they gave up 30-plus points to Virginia Tech, average offense. Cal, below average offense, and Louisville, average offense. You play who you beat, like I just said about Indiana. You beat who you play.
Right.
You can't schedule. You play who you play, and so your schedule's set before the year starts. Louisville's a good team. They're not terrible. They're not good. I'm not gonna say they're good. They're average. They're average team.
Suck.
They're an average team. They have good
They're
talent.
average.
Um,
They did
I was.
everything right, but the quarterback, man, that wide receiver they have from Alabama is really good. He's really good. What Brooks?
I don't know. I gotta talk about the Shuck hate, man. Shuck is actually playing really, really good ball this year.
He's a game manager though,
He
and he
put up
just
45 though. It's their
I
defense.
know, but that's Miami's more. Is that more of a Louisville offense or Miami's defense? You think? I think that's just
Great
Miami
question.
having bad defense. They haven't been able to put 45 all year up. Like they've been
I want to
struggled.
give a shout out to Isaac Brown though. While we're talking freshman running back at Louisville. By the time he's a junior,
He is good.
by the time he's
He's a
a
baller.
junior,
He
by the time
almost
he's a
he,
junior,
he almost put him on his whole back and won on the game.
that's what I'm saying. When he's a junior, like just imagine what he's going to be doing to defenses. He might be a first round running back in 2 years. That's how good that guy is. He is really, really good running back. They have 3 good running backs. They just need a defense a little, man. Gelati was supposed to be all that. Quincy Riley at corner is supposed to be
Yeah,
locked down.
yeah, the
They
D
just haven't
line's not
shown
that
up like
good.
they're supposed to this year.
Yeah, that D line's not as
What's
good
going on?
as it was supposed to be, which it's important. It's important. The O line has been holding up, I think, with Shuck. I just think what Brom kills me is he has this innovative offense and he runs, ballsy plays, gadget plays, whatever you want to call them, trick plays and stuff that's kind of innovative. But then he has this quarterback who I don't think can execute it. He's more of like a mid 2000s, 90s quarterback. Like he just is not, he can't do the things you're asking him to do. And I don't know what they saw in him coming in. There was so many quarterbacks to go out there. I mean, I don't know which one you would really plug and play with, but there's so many quarterbacks out there. But I don't know what they'll do in the future. But yeah, I think Miami, like, are they going to clamp down? I mean, like Alabama doesn't have defense. They're not going to probably. I mean, they're going to fall off, I think, and they might lose a couple more. Honestly, in the year, we never know. And then, but with Miami, I mean, 52 points is still impressive. But from a stat standpoint, he is number one in the nation in passing. Cam Ward is, and man, like it's just like who else do you give it to? All these quarterbacks, they're getting wins, but they're not throwing what he's throwing for. Carson Beck had a good game. He didn't throw for a lot, and Quinn, he's obviously facing up against Quinn Ewers, and obviously he didn't have a good game. We'll get into
Yeah,
that.
we'll touch on that one.
God, it's crazy, but I mean, yeah, we'll get in touch on the Cam Ward in just a second because we do have some highlights from him. But yeah, Michigan and Illinois. Move on to that. 21-7. What'd you think about it, Dalton?
Michigan don't have offense. That's all I think about it. Their offense sucks. No offense, no quarterback. You got to have a quarterback today. That's just in a nutshell the game. Going further out than that, Luke Altmaier has really stepped his game up this year. Illinois quarterback, man. He's running great. 15 passing touchdowns. Second or tied first in the Big Ten. He's just absolutely balling this year. They don't have any weapons on the outside. You don't have great running backs, but he's doing it anyway. So.
Yeah,
I want to talk about Luke. Nobody ever talks about Luke Altmaier. They don't.
they don't. They
Hear
don't.
anybody saying, "Oh, Luke Altmaier's a baller." No, never heard that. But he is. Ole Miss transfer. They picked Jackson Dart over him, and I think they're about even. I think if you look like if you trade him right now, Ole Miss might not lost in Kentucky. That's just my outside POV. But you never know. That's just hearsay. But either way, great win by Illinois. Their defense is always good. They had one bad game last week. They gave up 49 to Purdue. It just seemed like that was a fluke. They weren't ready for the quarterback. They had a new quarterback. They just weren't ready for him, it looked like. But they bounced back. Bilma, great coach, man. And I like to see Illinois good just because my brother-in-law, only Illinois fan I know in the world, but he's a big Illinois fan, diehard. And, he's actually enjoying football this year. So
Hell
it's
yeah.
cool to see Illinois good for me, man. So
Hell
I
yeah.
like Illinois being good. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
I
it's
missed
good.
Juice Williams too, though, just because I like him.
Shout out Juice Williams, Louisville native Justin Green went to Illinois back in the day. He was originally going to be a running back at Ohio State, then all of a sudden flipped and played
Corner,
running
right?
back. He did go to running back for Illinois, but then switched to corner at Illinois. He actually got a Super Bowl ring with the Patriots. He's a practice squad guy, but he got a ring. So yeah, Illinois, man, like that stat going in, I think that was the big tell going in with Michigan. That red zone stat, they only had 11 snaps in the red zone coming into the game all year. Michigan did.
That's
So
right.
that just, and like you said, their offense is not good. They just haven't had offense all year. We've been waiting for them to wake up and be the defending national champs, and they just haven't. Like they just haven't done it. I don't think they're gonna do it. But with that said, they still might beat Ohio State. I mean,
I
Ohio
counted
State.
it out. No,
Yeah,
I
you
counted.
don't count. You don't count it out. They still might mess around and beat Ohio State. So, yeah, pretty cut and dry with that one. 21-7, just grinded out win for Illinois, and they're able to keep it rolling. So yeah, Tennessee and Alabama is the next one, man. Man, it was a hard game to watch. I had some money on the game. I thought Bama was going to show up. I have really fought for Jalen Milroe this year. I think that he's been able to improve, but these last 2 weeks, man, he's actually cost his team a lot. His defense is undisciplined. This might be the most undisciplined team I've ever seen. We'll get into that. We got penalty yards pulled up, and they are among the top in penalty yards, which you thought you would never see kind of from Alabama. And I'm almost like, this is crazy. Like, makes me like Saban even more.
Yeah, no,
It's
you're right.
crazy.
You're
God,
right. Even
man.
as an SEC fan, Florida fan, I hated Nick Saban more than anybody, but it's shows how impressive his run was already. The
I
fact that
know.
this guy ran to the ground, not never ran to the ground necessarily, but messed it up in 7 games. Lost to Vandy and then lose Tennessee on the road, and then you should have lost South Carolina. They should have lost 3 in a row, really. So yeah, it's great. It's so impressive what they've been done, man.
Yeah, and then Nico was able to get a game-winning pass. It was a really good pass. I got to give it to him. That diving catch. I mean, yeah, it was back of the end zone. Only his dude could get it. It was really impressive. I do got to give it to him. Jalen Milroe threw a really crazy pick. At the end. And just kind of cost. I'm not gonna say it was all on him because if you see that, remember they had that penalty. They had a
On the
penalty
yeah,
on the receiver, and here's that pick that was so costly, I think, in the game, and kind of wrapped it up for them. And yeah, I mean that safety was so far back in the beginning of the play. He was so far back. I'll go back. If you look in the very back, he's in the very back top right here. The white guy, he's like number 35. He drops back out of picture, then all of a sudden just comes
this
back
drives on.
in. Yeah, and then you'll see it in slow mo here how this dude comes out of freaking nowhere and gets it, but still like Jalen Miller, you can't throw that, man. Like
He was
it's
reading it.
this
He
is
was
the
reading it.
game. This is for the game, bro. Like we've seen him doing some heroics this year. We know we have it in him, but man, you got to do it when everyone was counting you out on the road, and it's only going to get harder from here with big games, with rivalry games, and it's you can't be doing that with. And I think just it's just been a learning experience for I think DeVore, a more of a learning experience maybe than they thought or hoped. Uh, I don't know what they need exactly. Definitely a defense. They're starting a freshman corner or safety. It's really rare for Bama. It's just usually Nick Saban would always say you're not really ready for a couple of years to get on the field. So yeah, they went down 17-24. Tennessee. Yeah, they're able to get the win. They're still not a competitor, and that's even worse on Alabama. It's just a worse look on Alabama. It's just because they're not good. So I mean, they should have lost to Florida the week before, and and they was able to get the redemption win. Against Alabama, they always lose to them. They, maybe I don't know what the know how many times Alabama's got the all-time record on them, but I guess give one to the Vols. We'll see if Hupel can keep them at bay, throughout the rest of his career, his stay there. But I think they really need a couple more changes there in Alabama.
That game
Um,
frustrated me to death. I'll tell you that much. I hate both teams to death, and they both played like shit, bro. Like
Shit, bro.
I wish they both would have played better. I just wish both played good instead because I was like, oh my god, we're better than both these teams, and we're not even good, bro. So it frustrates the shit out of me. How close
Yeah,
we had a good coach with the talent we have. Like it's frustrating, but good win by Tennessee again. Survive and advance. That's what everybody says. They did it 2 weeks in a row. To keep doing it, make the playoff, and you got a shot. But they don't have a good shot at all. They got a
no,
shot.
they don't.
They got a shot, but
No,
not.
they don't. Yeah, it's wrap it up. I think for both of them, I don't think both of those teams have a shot at the title. But we two of the teams that we thought maybe were going to be in the Natty, we don't know. Georgia and Texas. I mean, God, Texas tried to come back, but they were down 23-0 or yeah, 23-0, man. And Carson Beck, he's starting to win me over, I think, a little bit. I think he is good. Quinn Ewers is starting to lose me a little bit too, man. I think Quinn Ewers is that's it, Jen. That's it, Dalton.
I told you about that one. I told you about him.
I think you
We're
gotta give
usually
it
right
to
about the
you.
quarterbacks. We usually agree on them too, but this is the one we didn't agree on. I said he's not good. You kept lobbying for him. He's just not. I don't know what it is about him. He won't throw the ball downfield, bro. He's scared to throw the ball downfield. I don't know why. He got good receivers.
Yeah, I don't know, man. God, he just needed to put together like 8 games straight from now. And then he was gold in
That's
first
it.
round, like gold and like no
That's it.
question. He doesn't have any off the field issues. He's a good kid, and
Great
seems
kid.
seems like he knows his X and O's. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe he's not good on the chalkboard. Maybe he can't really break and read a defense. And he's one of those players has maybe just always been good, is better than everyone on the field his whole life. And you throw in injuries, you throw in Manning behind you, and all this hoopla. Plus your first year in the SEC. I mean, damn, man. Pressure cracks pipes, and maybe he's just not a franchise NFL guy looking forward. I think he's just handing Shadur Sanders the first quarterback selected off the board, man. He's just sitting here throwing him the biggest oop. But yeah, what'd you really take away from the game from Georgia from overall standpoint? Kirby able to get a big win here.
Everybody's trying to tell me about Texas O line, Kelvin Banks, best O lineman in the country, and all that stuff. And their O line just absolutely got dominated up front. They could not block Georgia at all. As much as I want to talk bad about Quinn Ewers, I don't even dislike him. I want to be right. A lot of it wasn't his fault, man. He didn't have time to throw the ball. No time to throw. He was under duress the whole game. Anytime he took a snap, the top 2 or 3 running backs are hurt. I'll give him that. So it was a tough matchup for Texas. That's why I said Georgia's going to win. Man, I just didn't like the matchup for Texas. They're a great team. They can keep anybody in the country, but the cards were just stacked in this matchup. Like I said, Kirby Smart already has a loss this year. We've never seen him lose 2 games in the season, I don't think. Since he's been head coach, man. Maybe his first year, maybe, but since then, it hasn't happened. So, like I said, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. This is more about Kirby beat Steve Sarkisian to me, and not about Georgia players beat Texas players. Unless you
I
talk about
love
the
that.
D line.
I
Yeah.
wholeheartedly agree. I agree with you so much. I was watching I don't watch a huge lot of pregame, press conferences. I will watch some postgame, but was watching a couple on Pat McAfee. Sarkeesian was in there, and they was giving. It just seemed a little too cocky. They just seemed a little too cocky, too big for their britches coming in,
He's like
man.
that. He's like that. He thinks he can't be beaten by anybody, man. And you can't have that mentality in the SEC. He's gonna learn quick.
Not against Kirby
He's gonna
Smart,
learn
bro.
quick, bro. That's what I'm saying. The best coach in the world still takes him on the chin. You seen even when Saban was on his dominant run, that loss to Auburn was one of the sickest losses you ever see. So
God.
I mean, nobody's ever perfect, and he's gonna learn that real quick, or he's gonna not win a title. It's one or the other.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, man. I definitely agree. I think Kirby, he means business. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Kirby this year. It's who's going to take it from him? Who's going to, it's what he's asking. Who's going to come here and take it from me? Like, who is it going to be? We've seen, I think a lot of programs are about to turn the corner that we haven't seen. Maybe a Florida, maybe, Miami, I think has turned the corner. Or I think that we're going to see if they can run it back next year, but they're just not maybe this year. This year, he's like, who's going to take it this year? Like, come get it. Got Carson Beck here. Y'all want to say we have all these off the field problems, which they do, but
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Not just
not up
saying
for
it.
debate. That's not up for debate. That is not up for debate. Need for
It's a
speed out
fact.
there, but yeah, I mean, even with the not a crazy stats, they were able to get the dub. So speaking of not crazy stats, kind of when I was breaking down, like not a lot of quarterbacks were going for 300 this year or this week, and which picking out an MVP and was able to go with our selection here, which was Cam Ward. I mean, Cam Ward with 319 yards, 4 touchdowns in that win against Louisville, that 52-45 shootout, which did look in question for a little bit, but he was able to get it done. Got some highlights here from this week's MVP. And I mean, like we've already kind of went over this game, but like I said, I do think he is kind of passing up Jalen Milroe, and just from a couple of these plays I've seen, man, just some of these plays that shouldn't have been made off broken coverages, running backs not picking up the gaps in pass protection, letting somebody just go by, and then he's able to make a play and save him again. Is it Vestrepo? Is there a wide
Yeah,
receiver?
Xavier Restrepo,
He
so
is really
good.
good, man. He is
He's
really
he's the
good.
best slot receiver in the country, bro. He's so good, man. He's
He is
basically like
really
when
good.
Edelman was Welker, but better. Like some like better as a
Yeah.
prospect.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think he kind of gives me like, not like stature wise, but just impact wise and what he can do on a team early. He could maybe pull a somewhat of a Puka Nakua maybe next year. Uh,
I was thinking Cooper Cup, but I like
yeah,
Puka too. I
I
like
I
Puka too.
I think a Puka Nakua maybe like impact right away, and then Cooper Cup as in stature and just play style and how he
Like play
plays. Like
style, right? Yeah,
yeah, like I think you're spot on with that. Like, yeah, if he's really turned,
he's a dog,
Steve,
bro.
I follow Steve Kim a lot. He is a big Hurricanes fan, and he's always said Vestrepo's going to come down as one of those beloved, Miami Hurricanes. And I was just maybe he's thinking that because he's a homer or something, but no, this dude's the real deal. And Vestrepo's good, man. What kind of pro team do you think you see these two guys on, Cam Ward and Vestrepo?
See, I know Cam Ward's a great college quarterback, but as I watched some of his film, man, and a lot of these plays he can't make in the league, bro. The defense is just too good. That he's not gonna have 20 seconds to throw, no matter how good you can scramble, bro.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen like that. So he's gonna have to learn to get rid of the ball faster. That's my first thing. But he's very talented. I just don't think he's a top half of the first round guy to me. Like if my team, the Giants, took him, I would be very worried.
No,
That's
I
all I'm
don't.
saying. Our quarterback sucks right now, but I'd still be worried if we took this guy too. I'd be like, oh, we're gonna have to take another guy in 4 years. He's not, bulletproof as a prospect. There's a lot of flaws for him, but in terms of his mentality, there's no flaws in that. You got the
No.
best mindset you can have as a quarterback. Give me the ball, let me go make a play. He has that every time, no matter what. So I love his dog set mentality, but he just got to learn to get rid of the ball quicker against NFL defenses. But you don't have to do that right now. So maybe you can figure it out. A lot of guys have once they got to the league, and a lot of people are high on him. So hopefully he can get it done. I never hated on a kid. I hope he can get it done because he started out. I like his path. He started FCS, made his way up. It's a cool path. So good for him, man. I'm glad coaches finally realized how good he is. It's cool to see.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think he can make it. He's a situation guy. He's gonna have to go to a situation, but just the NFL is just so dumbed down. I mean, you can see he's leading the nation in passing. We got Chandler Morris at second with North Texas there. Jackson Dart
Dog.
coming
Talk
in.
about him for a second. Nobody knows about Chandler Morris out there. He's so good, bro. He's mobile as hell. The dude slings it. Watch the North Texas game if you get a chance.
Almost
Maybe
won. They almost won this week. I thought they were gonna. I thought they were
one
gonna
of his
make
fault.
it
They put up
a.
45, right, or something.
Yes, I thought they were gonna be a field goal loss, or they were gonna win. I think they lost by
Yeah,
7 or 10. But
no,
yeah,
he's
go
he's
ahead. Go
awesome.
ahead.
I love watching him play.
Spit your game about Chandler Morris. Keep on. What do you think about him?
I just love watching him play, man. Most people haven't watched North Texas play. I've got him. Well, I've only seen him once or twice, but I knew about him before. He transferred from Cal, so I've seen him at Cal. I thought he should have been their guy before. I thought they should have picked him. But either way, man, this guy is absolutely balling. I like Chandler Morris a lot. Like I said, if you get a chance to watch a game, maybe they'll play on a weekday, hopefully soon or something. Because it's hard to watch. And to get it, it's hard to watch North Texas game on a Saturday.
Yeah.
There's better games on, so you're not gonna put it on. But maybe if they play a weekday game soon, please turn it on and watch him play. For a mid-major quarterback, that's all you want, man. He's like one of those WKU guys. He gets it done no matter what. He's just electrifying. It's great to see. So that's all I got to say about him. And watch the North Texas game if you haven't. Everybody knows about the rest of these guys on this list. He's the one you don't know about, and he's really underrated.
Yeah, I agree, man. When I was looking at stats, I'm like, God, I know North Texas has been pretty solid this year, but I didn't know they had the second nation in passing there. Second the leader there. So I mean, we'll see what they can do in the future. I think with a portal, man, you never know what's going to happen. They could be in Indiana in a couple of years. They could be, a Pitt. I mean, Pitt's not too far off of what they do. North Texas, I mean, this is all money and recruiting, and Texas has got a great pipeline. They can go get kids out their own backyard. And so, I mean, yeah, I see here Jackson Dart and Josh Hoover at TCU. I watched the TCU game this week. They have a really good wide receiver. What's his name? The really good wide receiver at TCU.
They got a couple.
The one with the
Maybe
dreads.
Jack. Oh, Savion Williams.
Yeah, he's good, man. Number one. He's really good. Xavier Williams, I like him. Yeah, and then he's got a lot of help from his receivers. He's got a really good receiving core. So does Shadur
Four
Sanders.
really good receivers.
So does Shadur and him. I don't know who has the best receiving core right now. I don't know. We don't really have any numbers at hand right now.
I mean, all the guys on this list besides Chandler Moore. Chandler Morris actually has a really good one even. All this list has great receivers. You need help.
Yeah,
That's the bottom line. Like if you look at this list and look at the receivers, they all have great receiving cores. You need help. Let's just say that. That's like my biggest conclusion looking at these top five. Because not all of them are on good teams. So you can't say, oh, you're automatically good if you throw for a lot of yards. No, you got a good receiving core if you throw for a lot of yards because all these guys have absolute studs at receiver.
yeah. You make a great point. Colorado's got a hell of a receiving core. They're able to get it done. So it brings us into our next topic here, man. Is top 25. It just came out here. Really crazy at seeing Penn State at number 3. Still just seeing that. It's just not really. I'm not used to it in Iowa State. There, it's creeping up on everybody. I mean, nobody is talking about Iowa State, and I get it. I get it, but maybe you have to start talking about them as being a contender. But out of all these teams, we do see SMU able to stick in. Army and Navy, big wins. Man, they're still undefeated. But what do you really think of the top 25 in general? You got any teams that are think too high, too low?
This teams I see, I just want to talk about Vandy for a second. How close they are to being top 10.
God,
They lost to Georgia State somehow. That's actually nobody talks about it. It's probably the second biggest upset of the year,
it is
behind them beating Bama. Was
because
them
they
losing to
suck
Georgia State because Georgia State's terrible. Yeah, they
horrible.
lost to Marshall. You seen the game last week against Marshall couldn't compete with Marshall, and somehow they beat Vandy. At the end of the year, man, Vandy's going to regret that game so much, but that happens a lot. That's all. I feel terrible for Vandy, man. And then Missouri game too. They had them on. They went to overtime against Missouri. Vandy was almost ranked like 6. So I just want to like that's it's this thing about football. That's why we love the game. You're 2 plays away from being top 5, but instead you're 5-2, ranked 25th. Still a great year for Vandy, but that's how close you can be to being the best season ever.
Yeah.
Iowa State, BYU both hung on for dear life this week. One of them is going to lose soon. That's all I got to say. Iowa State should have lost Central Florida. They got absolutely lucky. BYU game, we talked about that one Saturday morning. I mean, great offense, but terrible defense by Oklahoma State. No way they should have scored. So, but hey, both teams survived in advance. I hope they're both undefeated and they play each other in a couple of weeks. That would be amazing.
I know, man. And then, like you said, like looking at the kind of playoff structure here, if you just take off, so it's only going to be one G5 team in, right? Only one,
Right
not
now,
two.
yeah, right now, I'm be Boise if they win their conference
So
championship.
you really take top 11, then you pick your G5, right? Is that how you would kind of a
Well, you don't take
logical way
top
to do
11
it?
necessarily. You take the top 4 conference champs. So, like, if Iowa State was ranked, let's just say they were ranked 13th, they would still get in and they'd be the 4 seed no matter what because they won their conference. You know
Right.
what I
No,
mean?
I'm just saying, like, out of any of these teams, who can afford another loss and maybe still get in? I don't know. Like,
Okay, on this
Indiana,
list,
yeah, like
un-
it's Indiana's.
outside the top 12, the only teams that could afford a loss is teams that can win the conference championship still, really. So K-State loses another game, they can still probably make the Big 12 championship.
Right. Right.
So like that, Pitt's undefeated. If they lose a game, they can still make a SEC championship and win it. SMU loses a game, they can make the SEC championship. That's about it, really. Them
No.
3 teams.
And
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And Clemson's still there. I mean, nobody's talking about Clemson either, and they're able to just grind it out. Cade Klubnik was right there on maybe Player of the Week. Cade Klubnik had a really good game.
I think nobody's talking about them because if they win out, if they lose, they at Miami, they still ain't gonna make the playoffs, are they? They don't have enough good wins on their resume.
That's
They're
the
not gonna.
question. That is
How
what
far
I'm
are they
wondering.
gonna climb? They're only number 9. I don't
Yeah,
think they climbed that far. I don't think they climbed that far.
but do they drop that far if they lose to Miami? That's what I'm saying. That's the question.
It's gonna
Like,
be interesting, man. First
somebody's
year of the
missing out,
playoff.
man.
It's gonna
Somebody's
be
missing out.
interesting first year. Like that. That's why it's gonna be awesome, man. We're gonna get a real like feel of things this first year. It's the first year. We don't know what's gonna happen. Nobody knows what's gonna happen. It's all we're just projecting this shit. We haven't had the college football playoff ranking hasn't dropped. This ranking is really irrelevant.
Right.
In the grand scheme,
As
the grand
according to playoff, yeah. But we have to just think like, bro, Army and Navy is going to probably ruin it for somebody, like,
well,
right?
what I'm hoping for, I hope Navy beats Notre Dame. That's we'll probably talk about that. Has to be a pick 6 game.
God,
So we'll talk about that, coming up on Wednesday. But I hope that Army or Navy can win, and I hope that Boise State loses UNLV this week, so Army or Navy can get the bid, man. No disrespect to Boise State. Cool, good team, fine. I like y'all, I guess. But it's Army and Navy, bro. I live in the U.S. I'm cheering for Army and Navy. I'm cheering for Army and Navy to make the playoff. It's a great story. Boise State, come on, Hodge Malik. Let's go beat Boise State this week to make this a great story. And Army Navy close the deal out, man. It'd be a great story, man. Like that's all you can say. It'd be a great story.
and can you imagine if UNLV would have kept it going, and how crazier it would have looked if we have Army, Navy, UNLV.
UNLV would be like
I think
16.
everyone's sleeping on SMU. I think everyone is sleeping on SMU. They could win the ACC.
Absolutely, they can beat Miami. They can
They
beat
can
Miami.
win
Yeah.
it, man. They're so well disciplined and well coached. Like, God, I watched them against Louisville, and God, they played so good and just so polished, and just never bad body language from the players on third and whatever, fourth and whatever. It didn't matter. I love this, and they just keep a really high potent offense, and man, it's just gonna get crazy, like you said. And man, we can go on and on about it. But looking at some more stats here, we're gonna go with our rushing leaders. We already know who's up top. It's really a 2-man race right now, just of 2 notable rushers. These are only 2 guys above 1,000 right now, and these guys, we just really wanted to highlight, as well as some defensive guys later on. But Ashton Jeanty, 126 rushes, there, 1,200 yards, 17 touchdowns. I mean, God, just a workhorse. But Caleb Johnson is nothing to be slept on. If Ashton Jeanty's not having this amazing year, we're definitely talking about Caleb Johnson. So out of these two guys, do you think these will be the first two backs off the board, in your opinion, or who else do you think have in mind?
In terms of the draft, man, I haven't really met running backs is such a
Running backs is, yeah, you just
fickle
have to really
position
wait.
anymore. If you're not dominant, it's a crapshoot. Some team might like you a lot and draft you a second round, or some teams just might not like you at all. You drop to the fifth when you think you're going second. So it's tough to reject that. But I do want to give some respect to Caleb Johnson because somebody talks about how good he's playing, and he's playing against Power Five teams without a
Right,
passing game. No
right,
passing game either. Their
right.
quarterback's terrible. Boise State got some good receivers, a good tight end at least to get some pressure off of Ginty.
Mhm.
Caleb has nobody, no safety valve or nothing. So I'm glad. It's really impressive to see what Caleb Johnson's doing. Iowa's never had a dominant back, even which is crazy to say
Yeah,
because
you're
the way
right.
they play, you'd think
Yeah,
they would have. But he's the best back I've seen in the past since I've been watching football, I guess. So he's really impressed what he's doing. If you get a chance to watch Iowa game, I'll say it again. Watch Iowa game because they're another one of the teams you ain't gonna watch Iowa game unless you're the only team on. So,
yeah.
but you can just watch him for a drive or two when he's in the game. Man, it's really impressive what he can do. His north south, he's amazing.
And it sounds crazy, but when a player's that good, you can tell that quick. Like you can really
Oh yeah,
just tell. Like you can just tell. Watch a few plays of this dude, and if someone tells you what to look for, if you know what you're looking for, you can tell this dude's the real deal. But I mean, another thing to kind of go in Caleb Johnson's, I guess, favor is, I mean, Boise State probably has the better quarterback too, right? Nelson.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Better quarterback, receivers, and tight end. Iowa got a good tight end, but
Yeah.
Boise State's also really good. So they have a better overall team for sure. So you got to that's what I'm saying. You got to give Caleb credit for that for sure. They stacking the box. They got to be stacking the box against Iowa. Caden McNamara ain't beating you at all.
No. God, he's horrible.
He's
But
terrible, man.
he's bad. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, maybe do you think they will kind of innovate their offense, Iowa, or just keep it the same? What do you think?
I mean, eventually you have to. I mean, they had a new OC this year. He's doing a little better, but they still not doing great. They still not doing great, man. You gotta get it. Just I would like to see them get a mobile quarterback ever,
I
just one
know.
time.
Once,
Just one
man.
guy that can
Give them
extend
a
and play.
give them a
It's gonna
Taylor
be mobile.
Martinez.
It's not even like a runner. Mobile. There's a difference. A guy
Yeah,
that can extend a
exactly.
play. They
Most
haven't had a
definitely.
guy that can extend a play ever since Ricky Stanzi, bro. Like
Yeah.
literally since Ricky Stanzi.
Do you imagine if they had like a Taylor Martinez or like
Oh my god. If
like
they
a
had Taylor
something like
Martinez,
that? He was a dog.
if they had a college Hey Martinez, they might have been in the championship because their defense. I'm just saying, like that's how good the defense is. Like their defense is always so legit.
I swear. I
It's
swear.
crazy. It's a
Yeah,
really
like,
weird team, man. I would hate to be an Iowa fan. Like I really would.
God,
That's a
that's
team.
torture. It's torture, bro.
Yeah, it would be terrible football to watch, and you're just like, oh my god, we're gonna score this drive. We're gonna score this drive, then you don't ever.
And you don't. And then you rack up all these yards, but yeah, like that's what they do, man. And they're racking up them yards. But looking like a 2-man race just at the top rushers. Obviously, Jinty's probably going to finish top, but this is just pretty much our top 2 rushers. There's a little bit of a smaller gap with our sack leaders. So we do have Trey White here with San Diego State, Antoine Polari. Yeah,
Power Island. It's a hyphen
it's
in there.
hyphenated, yeah. And then he's from Virginia Tech. And then, yeah, man, we have a few other guys rounding out the list. We got Mike Green and Marshall, Kyle Kenning. Is it Kyle
Kyle
Kennard?
Kennard,
Yeah, Kyle
he's a
Kennard, South
dog.
Carolina.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he's
got a
a-
double screen here. It's smaller on my end. But yeah, I
I
mean,
got
these are guys are getting them big sacks, man. I mean, 2 of them with 10 sacks already. I mean, yeah, we're obviously passing more with today's offense, but just definitely want to highlight some defense. Like you said, Dalton, we want to highlight some defense going around. There's still defense being played, and you still got to bring your A game. And out west, they're still playing, good defense.
It does seem, yeah. And the top 2 guys, the Trey White, man. I don't know much about this guy, but it looks like I'm gonna have to start dialing in. Maybe watch some film on this guy because 10 sacks is really impressive. Power Island now. I do know this guy way too well. Actually, he's Florida transfer. We let him get away. Napier let him get away, man. We could really use this guy right now. I could tell he was going to be a dog. He played as a freshman, like he was on the field as a freshman at Florida, so I knew he was a good player. I could tell he had talent. And then when he left the portal, I was like, man, I hope he doesn't. Well, I hope he doesn't. We don't regret this. Now he does end up good because he's a kid. So I'm glad
Yeah.
he's good, man. He's gonna make some money. He's gonna make bands. But it sucks for my team. But great for him, man. He's a dog. I've seen him play a lot, so he's really impressive. Donovan is a recruiter at Boston College. I've seen him play a lot too, man. He
Hell
really
yeah, you
sets
nailed that name.
he sets the run game really well too. That's the thing about him, man. You see the 9 sacks, you're like, oh, he's just a pass rusher. No, this guy's like 270, 275. He can really set the edge. Very underrated NFL prospect. I think he's a first or second round guy in my book because, like I said, he can play run or pass. Really underrated guy. And then Kyle Kennard, Georgia Tech transfer. I was on him last year a little bit. Seen him play with Georgia Tech, and when they got him, I was like, him and Dylan Stewart could be a problem, and turns out they are. Dylan Stewart, one of the best
God, they're
freshmen in the
good,
country.
man.
Them two pass rushing together, it's a problem. That's why South Carolina's really stepped it up on defense this year. They just got a great D line, pass rush, and you don't got time to sit back there and throw. So yeah, the top 4 guys I really like. I don't know the last 2 really. So, but still, shout out to them. They're balling. They're playing great. Shout out to the last 2 guys, Mike Green, Ahmad Hassanin, or whatever. Good,
Yeah,
good
yeah,
for
and
them,
then
man.
and then as well as anyone, playing defense, it's all about units. Your line can kind of get stats for someone else if you clog up,
Oh
a
yeah.
line and kind of open up their gap. So like Dylan Stewart able to help Kyle Kennard, on probably a few of these, on able to just kind of, you have 2 guys you have to game plan around, which. We remember Jadeveon Clowney at South Carolina, but they didn't have 2 guys like this. It looks like, I mean, God, they're a hard get if they're one of those other teams. If they can get a decent quarterback, and
Mm,
it's
yeah.
just so
It's been a long
crazy, bro.
time
How
for them.
many teams are quarterbacks away? Like, God, it's beautiful, but it's so like crazy.
But that's the thing about college football. A lot of teams are quarterbacks away, and then a lot of teams are everything but the quarterback away. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? A lot
yeah,
of teams have
yeah,
great quarterbacks in college too, and the rest of their team sucks. So that's how college football is, man. It's really hard to get a great roster overall, and that's why you see the same teams are good every year because they're able to do that. They know what to do. It's just
yeah.
hard to win because like in Florida, we have 2 great quarterbacks this year. I know one was a freshman, but Graham Mertz was playing absolutely lights out before he got hurt, and
It
then
was.
our defense is terrible, and then our coach is bad, so we have 3 losses already. It's not on the players. A lot of this, so it's coaching in college is half the battle. NFL is like a third of the battle, maybe even a fourth. College
Yeah.
is half, man. You got to have great coaching and players.
I know it is. It's crazy. You have to have great coaches. Some of these coaches in the NFL can kind of sneak by. The Siriannis out there. Who aren't really great coaches, but able to sneak by because they have some great players and kind of let them run the show. But yeah, man, we just want to get some highlights on a couple of individual stat races we're seeing across the nation and leaders, which kind of brings us into some more individual kind of attention here, which brings us to our Heisman talk. Man, like had Jalen Milroe in here, I think he is out. He is out of Heisman talk. Out. See ya. And I think Travis Hunter is too, just off injury. I think they're going to
Yeah,
rig him off him not being in there.
2 weeks. Yeah,
I think you have to put Carson Beck into this consideration now, and then maybe.
come
I mean,
on, say my. You know who it is, man.
oh Dylan,
You
oh
know who it
Dylan,
is. You know
yeah,
who it
Dylan
is.
Gabriel.
It's unfortunate for you and the rest of the country, but he's got to be the top 4 now after the last 2 weeks, man. Milroe, like you said, Milroe's off, Hunter's off. Not by it ain't Hunter's fault though.
No,
Milroe was his fault. Hunter's
right.
not his fault. You missed 2 games, you're just not going to Heisman. That's how it goes. Unless he's gonna have to go over like 300 receiving yards one game, yeah. Which hey, don't put it past
I
Travis
hope
Hunter.
so. I hope so.
Hey, don't put it past Travis Hunter though.
Give him like 200 yards and a pick six or something.
But yours, I mean, even Beck threw 3 picks, no touchdowns last game. I'm trying
That's
to
what I'm
think of who
saying,
else.
bro.
I'm trying
That's
to think of
why
who else you put in this battle with Ward and Jinty. I really am trying to sit here and think. Yeah, Gabriel, but who's the 4th guy?
I don't know, bro. That's what I'm saying. I kind of want to get your thoughts on it. It's kind of like a really kind of a toss up right now.
I
And
mean, most people would hate this take, but I'm going Horvath from Navy quarterback, man.
oh my
They're
gosh,
undefeated. They're undefeated. And his numbers are insane. His numbers are insane. They're undefeated. They're not supposed to be undefeated. So,
who are you?
uh,
Say his name one more time.
his last name is Horvath. I forgot his first name. Horvath, baby. He's everybody's gonna see this week and they play Notre Dame, man. He's a Heisman contender. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong and I'll say it next week. But I really think Horvath's up. He should be 4th right now. You look at the undefeated teams. None of them really have none of the other undefeated teams besides Miami has a dominant player. It's just mostly a team game. Penn State, you look at them, no Heisman contenders at all. All right, who else we got? Georgia. Oh yeah, Beck, 0 touchdowns, 3 picks. Their defense won in that game. There's not many undefeated teams left in Miami. Nico
There we are.
Alea.
We got him pulled up right here. Here's our undefeated teams.
Nico's not
I
winning
mean,
the Heisman. We know Nico ain't winning anymore. Milrose done. This list.
Texas is off of this. Yeah,
Okay.
take Texas
Okay.
off of
Curtis
here.
Rourke might be fourth.
But he just got hurt.
And he ain't supposed to miss a week, I heard.
Yes, he is.
They got a bye week. Don't they got a bye, though?
I don't know, but I've heard he's supposed to miss either a game or two. But I don't
Oh,
know.
man.
I
Well,
really
backup's
hope.
really good,
I
too.
really.
David Jackson's good, too. But all right, well, yeah, in terms of the Heisman race, that doesn't help me, though. You're right.
Yeah, I really hope he does. That's what I'm saying. The Heisman's really weird
Viewers,
right now.
Garrett Nussbaum, Kate Klubnik. I mean, man, at this point, that's how bad this Heisman race is. Kate Klubnik might be fourth.
Cade Klubnik.
Yeah, the way he's playing after the Georgia game.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He almost won Player of the Week. He was the only quarterback that had a really good game.
Played great 4 weeks
that
in a
got the
row.
win and stats. You had to get the win. Obviously, if your stats don't mean nothing if you don't win. Shadur was maybe up there. Shadur had a hell of a game.
Stats weren't great for him though. Yeah, 250, 2-2. Yeah.
Yeah, but his stats weren't great. So it's like it was pretty much Cam Ward and Cade Klubnik that really only had a really good year. I mean, yeah, it's been wild. I mean, as of right now, I think we are seeing some kind of different stats across the world. And kind of last week, we want to see. I mean, we were talking about hot seat. Do you really think that your Florida Gators are now, after this big win against Kentucky, are they going to maybe still keep Bro around? I mean, what are we going to see here? We have the hot seat. I think we have to add another one on here with Lincoln Riley and USC. We'll get into
2
that.
more.
I mean, they lost to Maryland, but what are you thinking?
Can we add Brett Venables on there too from Oklahoma, because they're
Ooh.
absolutely terrible.
I
34
like
to
that.
9. 34 to 9 of South Carolina, bro.
Yeah,
They're the worst team in the SEC. They are the worst. Maybe worst or second worst. Might be better than Mississippi State, but I'm not sure
Yeah.
anymore. Mississippi State's played good the past couple weeks. Lost to Jordan and by 10 apiece. So you got to put him on there in the next couple of weeks. I think Venables, man, he sucks. What do you think about Venables?
I agree. I actually do think you bring up a great point. I think Venables is right there. I think he's God, man, so many. All these coaches, maybe Mac Brown will have the littlest buyout and Trent Dilfer, but out of everyone else, if you throw Lincoln Riley on there, if you throw Venables on there, so many big buyouts. Like, God. And I think they're not going to care. They're just going to write that check and say, "See ya," get out of here. Like, that's honestly what I think. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. But do you think Billy Napier is still on the list after the win, or do you think they're going to still, do what a lot of people think they should do, is move on?
It's such a weird spot for my team, man. I go back and forth all the time. Honestly, I really do, because we're pretty good. We're actually kind of good now.
Coach JB gave y'all some love today on the show.
If you watch the last 3 weeks, we're actually kind of good. Like, we can beat a lot of teams. If Alabama came to the Swamp tomorrow, we probably we might not be favored, but I think we would win unless our coach messes us up. Like we should have won in Tennessee, bro, and you ain't supposed to do that when they're ranked top 10.
You're right.
So, the fact that coach put you in that position says a lot about him, but the fact that he also cost us the game says a lot too. So it's so back and forth with him, man. Can we win a title with this guy? That is the bottom line question at the end of the day, because it's just Florida football. We're not worried about going 10-2, and I really don't think he can win a title. I like the guy as a person, man. He's the most respectable. Like, if you listen to his interviews, man, he's the most respectful, nicest guy to the media, man. I've never heard him smart off or anything. He always answers their questions, no matter if they're asking him we're 30-0 or up 30-0. He's the same guy. So
Yeah.
I'll give him that, but I just don't think we win a title with him. So unless he somehow can beat, our next 4 games are Ole Miss, LSU, Texas, and Georgia. If he can somehow win 2 of those, and then can win Florida State, I don't know how we can fire him, honestly, because I don't know how you can, because we got Lagway back, man, and if you got Lagway,
I know.
with his progression and how good our defense is playing now, you might just have to let Napier ride it out for one more year, man.
bro.
This is college football though, because what if I mean we can't you can't keep moving on from coaches, man. We've been in that we've had 4 coaches now since Urban. We can't keep moving on because you go 6-6, 7-5, man. Look at Florida State going 1-11. We could be 1-11. We never had a year that bad. I can say that much. But
I
yeah,
know.
still, man, it sucks to be in this position of going back and forth. It's not cool. I'd rather be set. One week I'm settled, one week I'm not because we Kentucky. You see what they did to Georgia this year? They
Yeah,
lost
I
by
know.
1 to Georgia, bro.
I know.
They beat Ole Miss, and then we beat Kentucky by 28. So it tells you how good we can be when he actually does perform. Like that, he put the game plan together. He didn't mess up at all Saturday. And if he keeps that going the rest of the year, man, I would like to see him back one more year. But if he doesn't, we'll see how we perform. Though, if we get blown out by LSU, blown out by Georgia, blown out by Ole Miss, and blown out by 10, that then yeah, he's gone. But if we beat Florida State, can somehow win 2 of these games. Watch out for us next year, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. I just think he's one hell of a coordinator. I just think he's one hell of a coordinator and just not a good head coach. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. I think he needs to go, but it's. I was about to say he needs to go into Saban coaching rehab, but that's not even in existence no more. He's out the game where all the coaches go to get good again
Yeah.
and kind of get their name back, and it's kind of the transfer portal and it's kind of JUCO for coaches. Their bounce backs. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think you're right in the sense, like, and that's why I kind of wanted to bring it up because he's in that. You and your favorite NFL team, which is the Giants, you're in the same kind of boat. Like,
Oh no, that boat ain't the same, bro. That
but
boat's not the same.
coaches,
Actually, we want him.
coaching,
No, we want him gone. We want him gone. The fact that he didn't have the kicker activated that one week, that was the final straw that broke the camel's back for him. Nobody in the Giants organization wants him back. And then the fact that they blew the Saquon deal and he went off for 170 on us, he's done. He's done. We're gonna new quarterback, new coach. We're starting from scratch. But, anyways, yeah, man, Napier. I just love him, man. I just really like him as a guy, dude. So it sucks, bro. He's such a better guy than all the last 3 guys we had as a person.
yeah,
And he's cool. He has swag. He wears the J's, bro. The recruits all love him. That's why we get great recruiting classes. But you got to be able to perform on the field. If you can get the X's and O's figured out, the last 5 games, I will want him back because I like the guy.
yeah,
It's hard to get a coach you like, man. We can get
yeah,
a nerd in there. Like I don't. If he goes 12-0, but he's an absolute nerd, and I just don't like him at all. It'd be
yeah.
cool, but I'm like this coach, man. He's a nerd.
Yeah, yeah. I know. It's just that
It's like we're a
what
weird fan base,
it,
bro. I
it,
know
it's
it used
like
to be
which
cool. Urban
if
Meyer
you
was
have
a
to ask
cool guy.
you
Reese
the,
Berger was cool. They're both cool as hell. We need cool and good, bro. It's weird. We don't care. You got to be a cool person for some reason to coach at Florida. That's just like one of our
you
criteria.
do. That's why
Yeah, it's
everybody
a
wants
criteria for
Lane.
us. I don't know why, but it is.
That's why everybody wants Lane Kiffin is because that cool factor.
It's
But he
cool. He
doesn't.
is
He
cool.
doesn't win big games. But
No, no, I'm
um,
off this train.
I feel it. But yeah, one thing we
Cincinnati's
do
not
want to.
cool.
Signetti is cool though. I
Not
think he
cool.
is cool. No, I think he is cool.
I
I
watched
watched
his
his
interviews.
post game. I watched his post game this week, and
Man,
he was on
with
the
them
booth with
glasses
Mark
on and
Ingram.
shit, bro.
Yeah, he was on the booth with Mark Ingram, Matt Leinart, and yeah, he did a really good interview with them, and he did seem cool. He's just a hard ass, but a good one. He's a guy that's gonna rip your ass, mf you, but still pat you on your helmet and say go out there and make the play. I know you can do it. So and he holds a high standard from what it seems like, which Kalen DeVore does not. It's you can see it's coach who has a high standard who means business, and DeVore who's just trying to like keep his players from leaving,
Trying to
and
get by. He's trying to get
he's just
by.
trying to get by. He's just trying to get by. And two different aspects, two different monsters they have, two different schools, definitely. But, one thing is universal is, good coaching. So what leads to good coaching is good stats, which is one thing we want to transition here with our stats here. With just a few stats that just kind of stood out besides, the hot seat and besides the normal stuff we've been talking. We do want to go down with our third down conversion, which I wanted to go over, which we have Miami at the top of third down conversions, which I think that's a really big key to their success. I think right now we're seeing that a lot of these teams can't convert on third down. They're going for it on 4th and 1, 4th and 2 out of the gun or whatever, and they're just not able to do it. So when you have the Jimmies and Joes, the X's and O's kind of take a backseat. You know that. So out of all these teams, I think I just want to highlight, with third downs, it's big in football, and Miami. I think that's kind of one of those little signs that they are a competitor when you can get those third down conversions.
I mean, look at the 4 of the top 5 teams in this on this list are playoff contenders.
I know, right?
It tells you all you need to know, really. I mean, Syracuse at second. Our defense is really bad though. But still, the top 5, 4 of the 5 are playoff contenders. So that tells you how important third down conversions are, man. Keep your offense on the field. Keep your defense. Let your defense get rested. And if you don't end up scoring on the drive, just keep the drive going. Let your defense get rested. Keep your offense on the field 5 or 6 minutes at a time. Oh, that's what Army's always been great at that. But this year they're even better with their
Yeah,
run
and
game.
Yeah, and they're rarely on third down. They're used to going for it on fourth down with them running the option. That's nothing to them. So they're able to get the third down conversions and not even see fourth down a lot of the time. So yeah, I mean it's crazy. The little stuff in football it translates to success. Third down conversions, penalties, some stuff that we're going to go over. So moving along here, we wanted to go over that really even game of just crazy game of Duke and Florida State. The total yards, look at that, 180 total yards to 291. The score's not on here. You would think, Florida State definitely beat this team, right? Like Florida State definitely won. They had the better yards, and then that just was not the case. They lost 16-23. So yeah, man, we're seeing a lot of crazy stats here, and we're seeing that it doesn't matter sometimes about your stats. You have to get it done. If you got nuts and guts and you've got stuff in between the ears straight, then you're able to get it done. So we kind of hit the hail on that there, and then we're looking at third down conversions here on defense. Who ranked the best on defense? The reason I put this on here is I do want to give them some props. I do think it's the reason why they are getting some of these wins is Tennessee. They are forcing these teams on fourth down, man, and that is where you're seeing their success. Nico is not really making those big passes like we thought he was. He did make one good one, which was the game winner. But throughout the season, they're able to kind of get these wins, and because they're able to force teams on defense on fourth down and force them uncomfortable. So we see Ole Miss among the top two as well. NIU, very surprising. We've seen them come up with a big, really win with Notre Dame, but Duke on the list as well. But Texas on here too. But what are your thoughts on just these teams that are forcing the third downs turn into fourth downs?
This is just honestly looking at this list, it's really weird.
I know
It seems random because you
it
got
does.
some defenses that aren't even good on here. Like some Ole Miss and USC's defenses are both like average at best, So it's
Mm-hmm.
weird to see them on there. Like that's how bad they must be on first and second down
Right.
to be this
Right.
good on third down and still have that bad of a defense.
Mm-hmm.
NIU, man. Speaking of them, it sucks they lost their quarterback and running back. They're starting quarterback and running back at Notre Dame game. Who knows what year they could have had there because our defense is obviously really good too. So I hate that for NIU, man. They could have had maybe a Cinderella story year. Utah there, Cam Rising injury, unfortunate, but even when he did play last week, he didn't play good. They just need a quarterback. Willingham's always been good. I think he can get him a quarterback next year and they compete again. I think this is just like a 1-year fluke, but we'll see. If he trusts Wilson next year, I don't like them, but I just don't think that family's good at quarterbacks, man.
Yeah.
He's Zach Wilson's brother. I just don't think their family's got it in them. He looks just like him too. I don't know if anybody
Oh
seen him.
my God, they look
You
just
see
like
like his body
twins, bro.
language and everything.
It's so weird. And then one thing I do want to
Yeah,
add about Utah is Edub, Eric Weddle. He's on Coach JB's podcast every week, and he said today, man, he think they should move on from Cam Rising. He's an alum from Utah, so
absolutely.
his voice holds weight. And then he's saying that he doesn't think the coach really has the locker room like he's had in the past, and there's just maybe it's not resonating. Maybe it's the players, maybe it's him, but
Really.
yeah, he seemed kind of fed up with Utah. I think they are in that kind of limbo status where they can, with them not being the craziest NIL attraction, and they have to stay winning to kind of get those recruits. And the minute they start, kind of showing a little slip up there, I think it could go downhill quick for them. But yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point, man. But they've always recruited the parts of the country that other people don't, man. If you haven't
yeah,
noticed, they got all them Samoan Americans,
Usos.
a lot of Hawaiians, a lot of them guys. Like they get them. They're big hog mollies. That's why they're always physical and stuff. They just get a quarterback. I think they'll still compete. Looking further down the list, UConn. Wow, I don't even know what to say about them. They beat the teams they should beat. They get blown out by the teams that they're supposed to lose to. That's all you can say about UConn. So
Hmm.
I guess our defense is playing good, man. Maybe they just need a good quarterback. Jim Mora, he's known as a defensive coach, so I guess he's trying to turn it around there.
Yep.
Wyoming, really weird to see. That's the weirdest team to see on this list because they're actually terrible this year.
Yeah, they're bad.
You've seen their scores and stuff, but
Bad.
Wyoming is absolutely dog water.
I'm proud. I'm
um,
proud to say I've bet $0 on Wyoming, which I didn't think that was the case coming in. Maybe you throw in a game, a Thursday night game of them, they're easily money line, but no, not this year.
oh,
It's
Wyoming's usually like a
lock,
solid 7-5, 8-4 team. They'll beat
lock.
it. Yeah, you're right, man, but not this year. And then Missouri, Texas, okay, two top 15 teams just rely on their defense. Missouri, that's a team that though I thought was going to be better this year. Brady Cook played absolutely lights out last year, and this year he's just the opposite. He's not good at all. So it's so weird how quarterbacks can do that. He had 2 good years in a row before this year. This is senior year. You got Luther Burden. You got all this hype around Missouri, and this is the year he plays bad. So I don't know about Brady Cook. But their defense is obviously balling, man. So shout out their defense.
Yeah, yeah, and then which leads us into like another things like these are big third down and like I said, penalties is another thing we want to go over. So this is the penalty yards. So this is the teams that are really good just with the penalty and really bad. So we have penalty guys that are remain most the last. So they give up the most penalty yards. The reason why I put this on here
That's the
is
most at least. Okay, okay.
yes. So yeah. So when you're looking at stats on here, you can't. There's no fewest. There's no most penalty yards. There's only fewest, and you have to sort from bottom to
Go.
top.
Yeah.
So yeah. So these are the last place here. The reason I put it on here is because of Alabama.
Hey,
We have never seen Alabama get this many penalty yards, bro, and they're so freaking undisciplined. It cost them the game this week. It's going to cost them more games in the future. Sorry to
wow.
say it.
Georgia's on here too.
Georgia's on there too, bro. That's why like
Georgia's
this
on there too. Wow.
it's gonna get crazy, bro. It's gonna get really crazy because these teams are gonna break. They've been bending all year, and they're gonna break. They're gonna get their second loss, or they're gonna get their third loss. It depends
So
on
you
which
think?
team.
So what do you think about SMU? Because I mean, you were high them earlier, so that's all I got to ask about. You see this now? Was that you maybe have second thoughts about that SMU comment, or do you
If
still riding with it? I mean,
it plays a part, but the only thing that really plays a part is when you freaking score more points than them. It does not matter.
they
Like
do
there's
that a
still
lot.
for some reason it's still translating to them scoring points,
You're right.
and even when it doesn't, I think from what I've seen, a lot of the times they're getting these penalties on the right side of the 50 on their end. So they're red zone penalties. They're turning what could be touchdowns to 3 points.
Field goals.
Or there could be where they're not scoring three, but they're pushing them back the offense into bad field position next time. So I'm not saying I'm giving them off the hook completely. It does matter, but I think they do a good job at kind of making up for it in a sense. So Alabama and Georgia, like you said, man, is unexpected to be on here. UAB on here, which I think is going to play a role into UAB letting go of Trent Dilfer, first year head coach there.
Ole Miss third from the bottom,
I know,
and
man.
and some people want my Florida Gators to hire Lane Kiffin. We want this undisciplined ass football. No, we had this enough, bro.
I
We don't want
agree.
we can't have this. We can't have this. So I think Kevin needs to get that shit cleaned up if he wants to keep winning at Ole Miss. That's all I gotta say. He's struggling this year a little bit, and I honestly see the dam breaking in the next year or
Yeah.
two for them because they don't have NIL there really. And if he just loses games, he's not supposed to. Like if he loses games, he's supposed to win like he did against Kentucky. The luster's gonna wear off quick. I know he's a cool guy, but these college not nowadays they ain't worried about how cool you are. They're worried about how much I'm gonna get paid. I'm not gonna win. And if you ain't doing either one of those things, you don't got much to bring to the table.
You're right.
So hopefully Lane Kiffin can get cleaned up because if not, man, Ole Miss is going to be in for a rude awakening, and I think he might even be with his career. I hope not though, because I do like the guy.
Yeah, and then those big games come into play, man. And discipline is so important. It's kind of like you're banging the same drum and kind of just saying it over and over, but it just translates, and it really matters when you're getting penalties and when these games and the quarters are it seems like these games are long, which they are because of media timeouts. That's one thing I want to say. These games are taking so damn long with media timeouts. They're doing one every change of possession, bro.
They get
Like
longer every year somehow.
I
The game
remember.
now lasts like 3.5 hours. Yeah.
Bro, it was really crazy this weekend. Maybe because we had some, marquee matchups. I get it with Alabama and with Texas game, but still, man, like, damn, you got to chill, bro. It shouldn't be 4-hour game. it shouldn't be a close into a 4-hour game.
I agree with that.
They
Yeah.
need to do something, but it's all about that money,
NFL
man.
always somehow, no matter what NFL game, how it happens, they somehow always keep it to right around 3 hours. I don't like the NFL product as a whole, but they do that well. They started on time and it finishes on time. I'll give them
Yeah,
that. That's one thing I can say about the NFL that college football doesn't do, man. They don't start on time or end on time. The
yeah,
Florida game started at 7:45. It didn't start till 7:50. It's only 5 minutes, but the Georgia game started 20 minutes late, bro. So it was supposed to start at
yeah.
7:30. It started at 7:50, man. I mean, can we just be consistent? If you say a time to start it on damn time, I hate that. I hate it, man. That's just like it's a
Right.
pet peeve. It's not a huge deal. 20
No, I
minutes.
agree because the Bama game went a long ass time. That's why they probably took a little
You
bit
gotta
longer
wait.
on that
Yeah,
one.
just
But
put on a different
bro,
channel,
after
bro.
the game, they're going to turn on the Georgia game. Like, what do you think they're going to do? Turn off the TV and not watch football for the rest of the night? Like,
Hey, I know. I hate it. Like I hate it. That's one of my pet peeves about sports right now, for sure.
yeah, but all right, man. Like, we'll take look here at the top 8 or top 6 from week 8. I mean, it's been a great week, man. I think we have a great week coming up too. Like you said, you kind of said Navy's probably going to get on that pick 6 this week. I totally agree. They are looking for an upset, man.
They gotta be.
If Notre Dame blows it, two games is the opponents like NIU and Navy. No disregard to Navy, no hate on them, man. But damn, like you can't lose to these teams, and no matter how many wins they got, no matter if they're 50-0, you can't. You're not supposed to lose to them, and if they do. I think they might start looking. I think they made a really bad free agent signing, portal signing, whatever you want to say, with quarterback. What do you think about the Irish?
Riley Leonard. Yeah, I was never huge on him at Duke, man. I was never sold on him. I didn't think he could throw the ball, and I still don't think he can throw the ball. He's a good runner. He's a great runner. He's a physical runner. He can take it out the middle. He can take it outside. But when you really need it, like a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, I'm not confident in the guy. I'm
Yeah,
not like, oh, he's going to complete this pass.
yeah,
So if they're really in like a situation where they need it, I'm not confident in them like they were against Northern Illinois. They had a great win against A&M, though. That is the longer the season goes on, the more impressive that win gets. I will say that for Notre Dame, though,
that is
because
true.
A&M is dominating every team they play since that game, and that was at A&M. So I can't take that away from Notre Dame. I will give them that bit of credit. But along the quarterback lines, yeah, I'm not a huge Riley Leonard fan. I don't think he's an NFL caliber quarterback. And he was projected first round last year, which is a long time ago, but still.
Yeah, bro, this was supposed to put him from leaving from Duke to Notre Dame, like maybe a third, second round to this is Notre Dame. It's gonna be a
First
bona fide
round,
first
yeah.
round now. I'm
Just be
signing
first
my
rounder, like going into the year.
I'm pretty much just writing my check as a first rounder. But like you said, that's a great point. That A&M win looks a lot better because I thought A&M and Notre Dame were going to do the exact same thing, and as opposed, with their season, obviously they're going to play each other. But for the rest of the season, I thought A&M was going to do the same thing we've been seeing from Notre Dame, but it hasn't. They're roaring,
They're ball.
and they're
I
another
mean,
team that could crash a party. They could crash a party, and
their schedule is really easy, bro. They probably went out until they'll probably be 10-1 in the last week of the regular season. They play Texas. The winner of that game will probably go to the SEC championship. So that'll probably be a playoff eliminator. Texas A&M last week. I know it's a long way ahead, but that's something to look forward to already. If both teams can somehow win out, man, that'd be the best game ever, dude. SEC championship on the line, playoff battle on the line. A&M, I just don't. There's something about them though. I'm not fully bought in with them for some reason. Oh no. Okay. I don't know if y'all can hear him. I can't hear him. Fuck. I don't know. Go Vandy. They got a tough game coming up against Texas next week. That's a game I'm excited to see. Is Texas Vanderbilt. That should be a really good game to watch. Texas
can you
got to
hear
go
me?
to, man. Oh, there you go. Okay, cool, man. I started
No,
talking about Texas Vandy
no,
just because I
yeah,
didn't know
no.
what you were talking about.
I'm glad you brought that up. Texas. Sorry, I put myself on mute
It's
for
gonna
a
be a
second
great
there.
game next week, I think.
Yeah, I cannot wait till we're going to be grounding out this top 6 games this week. It's going to be crazy. Like God,
A little
I'm
sneak peek,
excited,
early
man. I
sneak
mean,
peek,
we're
bro.
gonna
That Texas Vandy game, dude. After watching the Texas offense last week, I'm excited as hell to watch Vandy try to upset them. If
God,
they
I
can
hope
beat
they
Texas
do.
and Bama the same year at home, I mean, that would be just a great story for college football. And as a SEC fan, I would love it because that's a team everybody loves. Nobody hates Vandy. Nobody's a rival of Vandy. Go ahead and beat everybody you play, man. I would love to see Vandy win that game.
I agree. I
We'll
hope
talk
they
about that
do.
later in the week, of course. That's got to be a pick six just because Diego Pavia is electric.
He's electric, man. He's a baller. He's so good for college football and just the SEC because a couple of these schools like you're just not as good as we thought they'd be. So it's good for some of these other teams to kind of carry the weight and kind of be up and coming. So yeah, like you said, we'll go ahead and get into it later in the week. We will get our new pick six up together, turn around, get a new list as soon as we go over the last one, ready to go. I mean, we're in the thick of it. We are got the playoff picture shaking up here. We got everyone in full swing there, and Heisman. It's looking like we don't know anything. I mean, last year we don't. I mean, maybe the Heisman was kind of up for grabs, but I don't think it was up for grabs this much. And at running back, we definitely weren't thinking a running back was gonna win it this year. So very excited for this upcoming week. Any final thoughts on the upcoming week, Gent?
We got a lot of good games, man. I'm looking at the list. Game we haven't touched on: Illinois, Oregon. Never know. It's at Oregon, but don't count Illinois out there. BYU got to visit Central Florida. You've seen Central Florida almost beat Iowa State last week. Maybe they're bouncing back. They put a new quarterback in there. Maybe they can give BYU a fight because BYU almost lost this week too. So
God, that
let's
was
see
a
if they can
game.
stay undefeated. Penn State visits Wisconsin. Underrated matchup. That one, it's talking about games that's not going to be in the pick six, so that one probably won't be just because there's so many good games. But Wisconsin has a chance to beat Penn State at home, I think. So that's a game to watch out for. SMU at Duke might not be in the pick six either, just because I got such a loaded week. So let's talk about that real quick. SMU visits Duke, man. Two
Great
one-loss
game.
teams.
Great game.
Two one-loss teams battling for try to go see championship and keep their playoff hopes alive. It'd be a very interesting game. SMU's favored by 11.5 right now.
God, that's going to be a great game.
Seems astronomical, but you remember when Georgia Tech was favored by 7.5 and they won by 10. And I told you Georgia Tech was going to win. Duke is not as good as they seem, bro. They beat up on the teams they're supposed to beat,
but
and they're not supposed to beat this team.
But I will say I think maybe that spread, the only reason it's so big is because of those stats that Duke put up, or the stats they didn't put up. They didn't put up any freaking stats. They had 180 yards for the whole game. Like,
No,
God,
for
I've
sure.
never seen that. So hopefully we don't see that. I like grounded out football, but not that bad. Like I like to see
No,
something
I
else.
know what you mean for sure.
Yeah, so, but yeah, man, like you said, I think you made a lot of great points, and I'm excited for the week. I know you are too. I mean, everybody should be. It's college football. So, all right, we'll go ahead and see you later in the week. Check us out on all of our socials. We got our schedule up there on the Instagram. You can see us on Twitch, Kick, Rumble, YouTube, obviously. Everywhere you get your video, you're able to catch us at. So, really appreciate everyone joining in, and as we start this thing, and officially like kind of through the halfway point of our first season covering, and really excited, man. And Gent, hope you have a good rest of your night, bro. I'll talk to you, and we'll see you later in the week, bro.
Yeah, me too, man. Everybody keep joining us. Spread the word. If you know people that like sports, just spread the word for us. We're just getting started, so we appreciate the coverage. But we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep getting better. So just keep getting us a chance, and we'll see y'all soon.
Hell yeah, but well said. And we have some more interviews here. What we'll do here while we're ending it out, since we have a little bit longer, this is our longer show for the week, a full rundown. We started off with our Jameer Scott interview, future Wisconsin Badger, and we'll have another look in it. It's really short. We'll end it on that note. So y'all have a great night, Home Squad Sports, and y'all have a good one. Peace.
Yep. See y'all soon.
All right, sitting here with Jameer Scott, Wisconsin commit, big game, couple tutties. How'd you feel about tonight? How you think it went?
It felt good. It felt good. We got out of there at the second half, so we just put on a little show first half, and you feel me, showed them what we got.
Yeah, it's always good as I save your energy. Conserve it for next week. You got another big game coming up. Like you said, like this coming off a challenging week the week before, but you all answered and you all were to show that y'all made business tonight. What was the biggest change that you all made coming into this week?
Our defense, we made up all the missed tackles last week, all the blown coverages. We just trying to perfect it so it don't happen when it's time for the playoffs when we play another big team like yours.
Yes, sir. Like you said, you got your eyes on the state championship there, but you've already made your decision where you're going next year. You're going to be a Wisconsin Badger.
Yes,
what was the biggest thing that really played the part in making that decision?
The coaching staff, they're my dogs. They treat me like family, like I'm one of their own.
And you just really want to go somewhere that's kind of develop you, right?
Yes,
Treat
sir.
you like family.
Develop me, get me ready for the next level.
Like you said, that's the biggest thing. It's important here with recruiting coming up, and like it's a business, like you said. So that family entity, if you can have that family aspect, that means the world.
Better. Yes, sir.
So I'll wrap it up here with Jameer Scott coming off a big 42-point win. Future Wisconsin Badger, be on the lookout. You have a good one.